America's first competition talk show.
The hub is engaging.
Talk Life.
Our exclusive interview with President Obama.
I talked to the experts, so I know who's ass to kick some butt. So I know who's ass to kick. So I know who's ass to kick. Yeah, when you talk to fishermen on the verge of tears.
You know what? You watch that video, and I think, I'm thinking the president in his omniscience, he ought to know who's ass to kick. Because if I'm the first progressive president of the United States, whatever ass I kick was the ass that was supposed to get kicked because I kicked it. And that's the only logic you need. You make the ass worth kicking because you kicked it. And so why do you even have to sit around and go, no, I got to talk to the experts because I got to realize, which ass is the right ass to kick. I can just pull out all the stops and say I'm the president and kick whatever I want to and justify my actions. I mean, Michael, I can't be too far off.
Well, when it comes to this president, we all know who he needs to kick. I mean, he's going to talk to all the experts, he's going to talk to all the reporters, and in the end, he's going to blame George Bush.
Yeah.
So why don't we just cut out the middle part and just jump to where we all know he's going?
Well, it's funny right now because a lot of folks are saying, in fact, this one writer at CNN is saying that this president is now coming head to head with the race issue, with race relations, and the fact that he has got to give a strong response to this big oil spill that has gone on in the Gulf, and he's got to project strength, he's got to project frustration and anger and all these kind of leadership qualities. You want to become a little unhinged, but he's also a black man. And in the article that I'm reading right here, he is suggesting that the president does not have the leverage, the freedom to be the angry black man.
Apparently, we elected the Hulk as our president because we won't like him when he's angry.
Apparently not. And I've got to ask here, if honestly, I think that's a bunch of BS because how did I think honestly a lot of this just has to do with the fact that he doesn't know what he's doing. He's outside of his experience. He came from a Saul Alinsky worldview that said, you control the experience, never take your group outside of your experience, but force your enemy to go outside of theirs. Now you've got an experience that you know nothing about. And all of the experts are on the other side already doing the best that they can do with what you've allowed them to do. And you are relegated to a sideshow. I mean, am I too far off, Brett, or do you buy the line that if this president were to get angry, white America would be upset, scared of him because now he's an angry black man? Is there that much latent racism going on?
I don't really believe that. I think we will see him angry before it's over, but I don't think there's that type of racism going on.
Yeah, because I can't. The other thing that strikes me here is that he is saying, and some of the writers are saying. Matt Lauer interviewed him on NBC's Today Show, where he said the kick some ass comment earlier this week, and made the comment that the experts have the best answers, and that's why we go to them. And quite frankly, he can't afford to be completely forthright and show just how frustrating the reality of the situation is, because if he were to do so in the past when he's done that, when he went after this Henry Louis Skip Gates, they arrested the Harvard professor, and he went after the cop last year, if you recall that, had to have a beer summit to resolve that one. When he's done this in the past, it's backfired on him. My question this is, and to me this raises a dangerous point. If I, as the president, cannot afford to be honest about the situation or about how I really feel, I've got a lot of concerns about that kind of a leader.
I want to jump in here
because what is he hiding? What does he really believe?
The thing is, number one, I question the premise from the beginning that you have to show some kind of rage or anger in order to be a leader. I think you can show strength and determination and even some frustration, but this idea that you have to be out kicking ass, I don't think that's a leader. What this illustrates is we have a president who is so caught up in trying to project an image that he's not being honest, and you cannot script a true frustrated leadership or an engaged leader projecting strength. You can't script that. You have to see it come out genuinely, and he's out of his depth, and that's why.
But I do want to. I mean, let me play the devil's advocate for a minute. It is because a lot of folks have said, this is just the way he is. Mommy was an anthropologist. She looked at religion and everything else that went on in the world, politics and everything else, from a completely expedient viewpoint of how do we, how does this affect different people groups? So he's therefore very detached, very logical thinker, very cool, calm, and collected. At this point, I've got to ask, is the man cool or is the man cold? Brett, what do you think?
I think the man's scared.
That's
really
it.
I have to agree.
That's what I see. I think he knows he's in over his head. He knows he's blown it in more than one big area. This oil crisis is going to expose everything, I think.
Yeah.
I think in the end, the only way that the left knows how to respond to a situation is with emotion. They only know how to respond by getting frustrated and angry. So when they see a president not emotional, not angry, not enraged, they don't think he's doing anything, because that's what they equate to action, and progress is emotion.
But I mean, you have to bring up the other point. I mean, is it if he were to have acted swiftly, on day 3 and shown up and given them everything he wanted, then you'd have a crowd saying, that he shows too much concern. He's ignoring other things like what's going on in Israel or whatever else. If he shows too little concern, then he's what we've got right now. He's heartless and he's incompetent and all these things. So you've got a crowd of folks that are going to damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, the poll came out on Tuesday that showed that Louisiana voters thought that Bush handled Katrina better than Obama handled the BP oil spill up to this point. Now, maybe it's not fair to equate those two issues exactly, but what it comes down to is this: decisive leadership doesn't require fake emotion to cushion it or to position it in the American mind in the right way. If you take the right action and do it in the right way, that conveys all the emotion that you need.
Yeah, well, he's done nothing. Right. He's done nothing about this. And tonight's speech, you'll see at the end of it, there'll still be nothing done. We'll come away with no more information, a bunch of BS.
But, I mean, to his credit, the man does show anger on occasion. I mean, you've got Robert Gibbs, the press secretary, has even said that he's seen him with clenched teeth before. Now, I think obviously that was probably him living off his 10 over par from the weekend. But, needless to say, he does get angry. What about? Who knows? But I'm sure he shows anger on occasion. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll be less angry on The Hub.
Wait 1 minute more. Wait 1 minute.